Alright, welcome back. Well, as you can see, the yeast is ready. And you know when it's ready because you can't hear it, but it's actually bubbling a little bit and it's foamy. So what we do is take our butter, salt, and flour mixture and pour in the yeast. You don't want to do it fast or else something bad happens. Do as much as possible. Alright, take that away. And then we have our 3 egg yolks. One is already dissolved. I don't know why. But we add those in one at a time. Slowly. There goes the other one. And now a spoon doesn't help really, but I'm just gonna use my hands, and it's actually, my hands are really clean because I washed it. Can I do it too? Maybe. Yeah. Alright, so whoa. The yeast is actually really warm because to activate the yeast you have to put it in warm milk, and that will make it go faster, or else if you put it into warm water or warm or cold milk, like whatever you do, it's gonna be really cold and slow, and you're gonna have to wait like an hour. Can I do something? No, please. No, please. Please. And so it's actually really hard to do this, so you don't really want to use both of your hands. I just started using it, and so one hand can start like holding the mixing bowl, and the other one can just mix it. As you can see, it's starting to turn real crumbly, and it's gonna become dough sooner or later. So start pounding it down like that. Get more information. Daniel.
Okay, right now, as you can see, Nicole is mixing everything with her hands. When we are done, like she said, it's gonna turn into dough. This dough we will put in the
the baking pan.
Into the baking pan, and then we put it all into the oven.
But what you see is we are gonna once we are gonna put the dough into the baking pan. You show the baking pan. See, we put wax paper and we sprayed some pan non-sticking spray instead of butter. It's way better. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna line the dough. But before you do that, like you're gonna have to roll this into a ball, but that's gonna be later, and it's gonna have to sit for 20 minutes. And you're gonna hear me say that again. But so go back to the pan. Once we put in the dough in that pan, we're gonna put some brown sugar, and there's gonna be a mixture of sour cream and eggs, which we're gonna do later. And then it's gonna go into the oven, and you will see what's gonna happen.
It will be in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit.
For 10 minutes, but that's later. And you go back to the dough. So what you want is you want to get all the flour from the dough. You don't want like some flour left behind. And you see it's already turning into its dough format, but it's really crumbly. So that's why people do this.
You mush it all together. You don't want any pieces to be separate like this.
If you wanted to touch it. So you're gonna have to start forming it into a ball. And if you see my hands have all this dough on it, all you do is just
rub them together.
Or you can grab a knife and get the non-sharp end and just go like that.
Remember the non-sharp end.
Please have parents' permission to do this. I'm an expert. Look at that.
If you accidentally use the sharp part, beware of getting cut.
Or if you're scared, just use a spoon, but that's how I do this. It's not easy at all. It's harder than it looks. Can I try? No, Daniel. We'll touch it later. As you can see, the cameraman, well, you can't see it, but the cameraman really wants to touch the dough, but I'm not gonna let him. Alright.
She promised me I will help later.
Later's later. We're gonna cut that part. Alright, now let's start putting it into the ball format. We don't want the dough to be all separate, so we're just gonna put it into a ball. And you'll see what happens after that. because after this, after the ball is formed, we still have to let it rise. So it's gonna be like 20 minutes. We're gonna wait. Oh my goodness. I think we need more oil. And if it's a little too dry, we can always put more olive oil in it. Can the cameraman please get more olive oil? Zoom out. No. I don't know how to zoom out. Alright. Slowly put the dough
into a ball format.
The olive oil will be coming, and see, it's kind of dry.
Lower.
See, it's kind of dry. Like, if it's this dry, you can always just put more olive oil in it. Just the way it goes. So, get the olive oil.
Here comes our old friend, the olive oil.
Alright.
Company, Bel Oleo, extra light olive oil.
The best kind. Alright, so, grab the olive oil.
Can I do
What? And put the...
Pour slowly, please.
A little bit. You don't need a lot. Just like a teaspoon or smaller. Didn't know who's going to hold the camera. That's why. Alright, now it's going to be so much more moist and smooth. That's how you want the dough. You want it smooth. You don't want it crumbly at all. That will not help. And if you have like extra egg yolks left over, or the little bit, like as you can see here, you can also add like that extra, but not really needed. It's just like if you have it really dry, add as much moisture as possible, but not too much, because that's not going to help at all.
Did it go?
I don't know. Flour, get the flour. Alright, so flour. And so what we're going to do,
We don't have
if it's too moist, we're gonna, you can just dust it with flour, and look at it's turning into a ball. Roll it into a ball. It's really smooth right now.
Try to roll it all around.
So, you want all the dough. You don't want like all this leftover stuff from the bowl, because that's actually the dough, and that'll help a lot. So to be easier, all you're gonna do is just put it on this board, and you can just roll it around.
Can the cameraman do that?
Yeah. And since I'm doing it on the board, it's because I want it smooth, and in your hands, it's not really gonna be smooth once you roll it like an actual good ball of flour. So, yeah, okay. As you can see, we have our ball of flour, and what we're gonna do is put it back into the bowl and wait 20 minutes.
We put the towel over it, too.
So to let it rise, because the yeast has to act. Nicole's Food Hall is brought to you by D4 Commerce, the advertising and selling business.
D4 Commerce is the place to be. If you need something to be advertised, we will advertise for you. If you need something to be sold, we will sell until we get it all sold. So come and advertise here with us today.
Welcome back. Well, our dough is ready, as you can see right here. And so what we do is take the pan, which has been covered in wax paper and sprayed with PAM nonstick spray. We take flour and we lightly dust it. You don't want a lot, like those clumps. You can just use your hand, it's much better that way. Okay. Get that out of the way, and then dust the flour board, because we are about to roll our dough. Right. So, see this dough. I'm gonna take it, put it on, flatten it a bit, get it all floury, and take a rolling pin and roll it out until it's kind of flat, because we need it to be an evened out way for it to fit into the pan.
The pan, which we will be putting it in, first will have the dough. The dough is now being rolled by Nicole, so it's going to be even on all sides. It should look kind of like a circle. A flat circle.
Really flat circle. And during the process, you see we run out of flour, so dust the cutting board even more.
I recommend not eating the dough currently.
Because it has raw eggs in there and yeast, and it's just...
And it has no taste whatsoever.
Okay, keep rolling it until it's flat. Because the dough is not only going to go on the bottom surface of the pan, it's also going to go on the sides.
It's going to go all over. Because remember, this is going to be a type of pie.
It's a sugar tart. So what you do is not only just go back and forth, but you want to kind of twist, like kind of turn it, the dough, so you can get all the sides and angles rolled. Then,
if you want, you can even flip it over.
Yeah, flip it over frequently because it's much better that way. And what you want is you want to even out the sides because you see, zoom in, you see how we have little crumbly areas on the side? We don't want that. So we just pull it in with your fingers. Your thumb, both of your thumbs will be working here. And that's pretty good. See, look at that. Let's get this. And you also want the other side, because this dough is turning really crumbly. And once you feel it, it's really smooth. You put it on the rolling pin. Now, take her, type in. And what we're going to do is put the dough, oh my gosh, put the dough inside it, carefully. You don't want to rip the dough, and you don't want the wax paper to be under it, like these little corners. You don't want it to be under it. That. You zoom in so you can see that we're not only going to be doing it on the bottom, we're also going to pull it up on the sides with your fingers. Just turn the pan and slowly just pull it up. And if you see these little dough corners like popping out, you can take some off and just kind of like clay, just
put it somewhere else where it needs to be.
Like if the other side is kind of uneven, you want that extra dough that's there to kind of fill in the space. There, it looks wonderful right now.
A personal tip would be, if you don't have something like this, a pie pan is an excellent
It's actually required to have a pie pan.